when you switch to veganism, you may feel so invigorated, you may feel so driven by some purpose. And we see from this graph is that participants started spending more time to plan and work on their diet and lifestyle after becoming vegan, and they had to sacrifice other activities for it. This video is a part of the Vegan Study Report series, and if you haven't seen part 1 of the series, then please use the QR code or the link in the description to proceed and watch it, because there you will find the study overview, methodology, and several important parameters that we've already looked into, the parameters that were associated with vegan experiences of our respondents. And in this video, we will look into how side projects and hobbies experiences were influenced by veganism. We're going to look at 3 graphs today, 3 slides, 3 graphs. Side projects and hobbies, then time invested in diet supplementation, research, planning, food preparation, eating, that I summarized as time invested in lifestyle maintenance. In the third plot, we will be looking into correlation between time invested in lifestyle maintenance and ability to work on side projects and hobbies. So, side projects and hobbies, I don't like this diminishing name of those activities, because hobbies like something very non-serious, then side projects also something on the side, when in reality for many people side projects and hobbies, or what we mean by side projects and hobbies, is actually some most invigorating activities that actually fuel us up with energy, with inspiration, with drive in life, because those are activities that sometimes do not correlate with, for example, what's in demand for modern economy, but something that we're naturally born to do, something that corresponds to our natural talents. And for some people, they become blessed and they're able to start monetizing those things and doing them for a living. Sometimes it's not a blessing. Sometimes it's really good actually to keep them for your own pleasure, because again, not everything must be integrated in the economical machine where you start exchanging your activities for resources. Some things should remain in the domain for just for myself, just for my pleasure, just for my inspiration. These things are super, super, super valuable, because when you start sacrificing them, when you start not performing in your so-called side projects and hobbies, something that you are naturally talented in, this robs you of so much energy and inspiration. If you have to sacrifice them, it can literally bring you to very deep depression. That's why I selected this area of life as one of the important areas of life, and I wanted to see how they correlated with veganism in our participants. Again, 24 participants that took part in my study. Here on this graph, we will see how many participants experienced these effects of veganism throughout their vegan stages. So before vegan, early vegan, midterm, end stage, and after quitting veganism. And here, again, if you're familiar with other videos on this study, the color coding is the same as everywhere. So green and orange are positive effects of veganism or other lifestyles on the experiences, the side projects and hobbies. And red and blue correspond to negative effects of veganism or other lifestyles on side projects and hobbies in this graph. So we see that orange corresponds to veganism having enabled side projects and hobbies. Then diet or lifestyle improved the experiences with side projects and hobbies. Then blue corresponds to veganism or other lifestyle made it harder to perform side projects and hobbies. And red corresponds to diet or lifestyle having prevented the participants from working on side projects and hobbies. Gray is our neutral color, meaning that lifestyle did not have any influence on side projects and hobbies. And dark gray corresponds to people who did not or do not have a hobby. If we just briefly glance at this graph, we see that switching to veganism started influencing side projects and hobbies experiences in our participants. In particular, for a quarter of our participants, veganism made it harder to perform them. And as we go through the stages of veganism that are again custom for every participant, this is a custom timeline, we see that the experiences with side projects and hobbies get progressively worse as people go through stages of veganism, up to the point that for a quarter or up to a third of our participants, veganism prevented them from working on their side projects and hobbies. Here, however, we see that for some fraction of people, lifestyle enabled hobbies and side projects or improved them as well. But the fraction of these people, it shrinks as we approach the end stage veganism. The positive trend here is that after quitting veganism for over 50% of people, quitting veganism improved their experiences with side projects and hobbies. And now let's analyze this data. First, let's focus on how going vegan can improve or enable your side projects and hobbies experiences. First of all, veganism itself can become a side project or hobby. Second thing is that some people experience improvements in health after they start being vegan because some people switch from very bad diets. Then another thing is that when you switch to veganism, you may feel so invigorated, you may feel so driven by some purpose. Then another thing is that you may start feeling sense of belonging, which also may give you this enlivened, this very vibrant sensations, because this is something that we're longing for our entire life. We want to feel sense of belonging. If you find community, then it also gives you a lot of purpose, a lot of free energy. If we think about how veganism can enable your or become your side project or hobby, it can greatly influence your existing hobbies. For example, you were into knitting, then you discover that you can make certain garments or home accessories out of vegan friendly yarns. You can make it a whole like business. You can make something very interesting that's not very popular. Or you can go into upcycling. You can start, if you become environmentally aware person as a vegan, then you can do all sorts of things like that. Upcycling, some remaking, remodeling. Then another thing is that you can totally get into vegan cooking because veganism is super is super playground for arts and crafts in the kitchen. Because if you are into not so like naturalistic veganism, then you can also start making fake meats. You can start making all sorts of replicas. You can go into fermentation. It literally can substitute your existing projects and hobbies or become some new project and hobby. If I was to look into this graph and find correlations with my experiences, I can say that going vegan, it kind of squeezed out my art because I'm naturally an artist. I used to do, not used to, I still do it now. But before I went vegan, being an artist, painting, drawing, making photographs, that kind of got squeezed out by raw veganism because raw veganism was such a, on the one hand, meaningful, on the other hand, also crafty thing for me. I also, by the way, found a lot of meaning in it in a way that why would I do arts when my entire lifestyle is an art now? I started feeling that my daily life became an art. So raw veganism had kind of slightly squeezed out my other artistic pursuits in the very beginning. I was so fulfilled with what I was doing, and actually it's another big component of veganism, why veganism feels so good when you just go vegan, is because every action of yours becomes so impactful. You feel like your every meal of yours, every act of eating becomes a statement, becomes an act of rebellion, becomes, again, a performance, pretty much performance. Veganism is very performative in this way. Every simple act that you do to maintain your life, vitality, anything like routine, you go to the store, you go shopping, you communicate with people, you just consume your food, you buy like some products for self-care, whatever it is, any engagement with the informational sphere. When you're vegan, every act like that is meaningful. You're no longer just eating just to live and move on. No, your every meal is something very meaningful. That's what I'm saying, that this can totally substitute certain, like, let's say, artistic pursuits or like self-presentation. If you like go on social media, if you do certain things for social media, you can just be vegan. You can just eat on camera and that becomes a product. You no longer need to create any product, like I mean artistic product. Some artistic meaning you take cows and you assemble it into some ordered matter, into something that we find harmonious and beautiful, complex, something that has never been done before. Or you reflect nature, you process nature and create certain synthetic piece that your impressions of that represents your impressions of nature. Well, that's what art is. You no longer need to produce anything complex. You can just eat on camera. You can just prepare simple food on camera, and that becomes a statement. That becomes an art piece. This is where it can substitute artistic pursuits. Then, when we look at this trend, it degrades here. So the experiences with side projects and hobbies, they degrade here, with predominant amount of people suffering the consequences of veganism in the domain of side projects and hobbies. Why is it happening? Here we can have several components to that. On the one hand, as you start going through veganism, though after midterm veganism, you usually already have an array of nutritional deficiencies that greatly steal your quality of life. So you need to you lose energy. You lose energy here. You are entering the survival mode. So in the pyramid of needs, your creative pursuits become very unattainable at this point. You don't want to think about them. You don't have a free energy to think about all of those creative pursuits. So you are not living like completely like a human anymore, because human is a combination of material and creative, intellectual. So you no longer can do that. There's no free energy for that. You are purely in an animalistic survival state. This is one component because, again, you get nutritionally depleted. Any kind of anemia can arise on vegan diet, likely will arise on vegan diet. Vitamin D deficiency, hormonal insufficiencies, just general fatigue, tiredness, mental health disorders, everything can kick in. And you cannot do anything that's creative. You need to save yourself here. Another thing is that when these things happen, as you go through veganism, and I have a very cool video, it was like impersonation of a doctor, vegan doctor, and the client, how this vegan doctor throughout his career was learning about more and more things associated with veganism, prescribing his clients more and more supplements because nutritional science was discovering the importance of those things, and that certain biochemistry just doesn't work out the way it was supposed to predicted to work out years ago. So science was discovering more and more things, and the doctor was gradually getting disappointed in his pursuits towards veganism, needing to prescribe more and more things to the client. The same happens with every vegan, because as you go through veganism, you start discovering that, oops, I cannot just eat whole foods and take B12 and be satisfied with that. My body won't be satisfied with that. So you start doing more and more research to learn what else might be missing. So you just start spending more and more time to optimize, to manage your lifestyle, to make it sustainable. So your lifestyle maintenance starts taking up too much time for you to be able to engage in anything outside of that. It just becomes an overwhelming activity. And here I plotted actually time invested in diet, supplementation, research and planning, food preparation, eating, etc. Lifestyle maintenance, basically. And on this graph, I plotted percent participants. Forgive my inconsistency between switching from number to percent. I don't know why I did that, but that's the graph. So for this graph, I plotted different options. So people had to sacrifice other activities to perform lifestyle maintenance. People had to spend most of their free time to perform lifestyle maintenance optimization. Then blue corresponds to people needing to invest more time into lifestyle maintenance than they would like to. Then yellow corresponds to that people had to invest comfortable amount in their lifestyle maintenance, and green corresponds to minimal amount. And again, same stages: before vegan, early vegan, midterm vegan, end stage, and ex-vegan. And we see from this graph is that participants started spending more time to plan and work on their diet and lifestyle after becoming vegan. So we see that if before veganism people spend minimal amount to invest in their lifestyle optimizations, minimal or comfortable amount, then we see that half of participants start investing either more than they would like to or most of their free time to lifestyle optimization. And then this fraction of people gradually increases. We see that in the midterm veganism, two people had to sacrifice other activities to perform lifestyle optimizations. Only one person had to do that in the end stage veganism. But we see that this general trend deepens with people who had to sacrifice more time, in total, more time than they would like to, and going in and more. Then, after they quit veganism, we see that most people spend either comfortable or minimal amount to optimize and maintain their lifestyle, with some small fraction of people having to invest more time than they would like to or most of their free time. So what we see is that the time investment was getting progressively higher towards the end stage. And if we look at this graph, just like if we glance at this trend and this trend, we see that they're flipped, which means that there's likely a correlation between that. And then if we keep looking at this graph, as ex-vegan, most participants spend more time, but comfortable amount of time to work on their diet compared to their pre-vegan phase. So people, yes, they become more aware about their lifestyle. They become more aware about nutrition. So it is natural that people have to spend slightly more time if we look at this minimal versus comfortable amount. But still, it's within the comfortable realm for most people. Again, there's fifth of people who have to sacrifice more than they would like to. And now let's look at the correlation between this data time invested in diet supplementation, research and planning, food preparation and eating, and other things, as we summarize as time invested in lifestyle maintenance, and side projects and hobbies, just to gauge whether there is direct correlation between the two. And this is where I plotted time invested in lifestyle maintenance and ability to work on side projects and hobbies. Here I have number of participants and I have these criteria. So minimal amount, comfortable amount, more than they would like to, most of their free time, and they had to sacrifice other activities for it. And on the x-axis here, I plotted I don't have side hobbies, or I don't have hobbies and side projects. Then veganism improved my experience with hobbies. Veganism made it harder to work on hobbies. Veganism made it impossible to work on hobbies, and veganism had no influence on hobbies. So what we see here is that for people for whom veganism made it harder to work on hobbies, we see that they invested more time they would like to into optimization of their lifestyle or most of their free time. And same trend carries on to people for whom veganism made it totally impossible to work on their hobbies. So this means that this graph is largely explained by people not just necessarily health problems, or not directly health problems, but the fact that they had to spend more time optimizing their lifestyle. So this is mostly the time constraint coming from them making an effort, which again, here it also may be influenced by health problems, because when there are health problems, people have to go to the doctors, people have to read a lot to try to identify why they have this health problem, this deficiency. So it's kind of intertwined. We cannot delineate the two necessarily strictly, but still, the investments of effort go from this to this into optimizing their lifestyle. So this is in the end stage veganism, by the way. This plot is for end stage veganism only, where we see the most reduction in satisfaction with side projects and hobbies. Then if we look at people for whom veganism had no influence on hobbies, they still spent most of their free time. Two people who spent most of their free time. One person spent more time than they would like to, and one person spent minimal amount. Then for this graph, veganism made it harder to work on hobbies. We see that for one person, they spent minimal amount optimizing their lifestyle or comfortable amount. One person had to sacrifice other activities for it. So we see that this one will be time constrained. This one might be that there was some health outcome of veganism that was driving this graph. And then for veganism made it impossible to work on hobbies, we see that, these are more than I would like to most of my free time. These are the dominant reasons for that. Then for people for whom veganism improved their experience with hobbies, we see that one person invested more time than they would like to, and person who had no hobbies said that they invested comfortable amount into optimizing their lifestyle. So this is the correlation. So they go in direct relationship here. These experiences in the end stage veganism, they are definitely related. Time constraint. And again, why do we have this time constraint? Because there are problems. You cannot just sit on problems if you're an adequate, psychologically healthy person. You'll be trying to solve them. And again, this proves that there was this element of trying to survive. This is people trying to survive their end stage veganism. This is what it proves here. So here we'll conclude this video, and I will see you in the next episode.